Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NyteTime podcast. I am your host, Matt Higgins. This is episode 7. I know it's been a while since I've gotten with you, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. I want to get all of my articles caught up that I've been saving that I thought were worth mentioning, and we'll discuss a few other topics that are not newsworthy, so to speak, but still worth a talk. Some entertainment value, I'm sure. Thank you for spending your time with me. I know you don't have to, so if you are, I appreciate it. We are on location at my girlfriend's apartment, and want to give a quick shout out to Ginger. Love her with all my heart. Thanks to her friends and family who have embraced me. I appreciate it. They've made me feel like one of their own, and things are going very well in my personal life. Can't complain. Cannot complain. There's a lot of people that have got it worse. A lot of people. So, be thankful for what you have. I'm not saying you have to thank anybody who doesn't exist, like some kind of imaginary friend or deity, but just be thankful. Wake up happy. It's the best advice I can give. And know that your wins and your losses, they're not due to any outside intervention. You are responsible for everything that happens to you, in so much as if you accomplish something good, you did it, okay? You accomplished it on your own through hard work and patience, perseverance, tenacity. Don't think that just because you got a win that, you know what, other people help out when they can. Feel free to give credit where credit is due, but please understand that you don't have to give credit to somebody higher, some higher power. Okay, because that higher power isn't going to do anything for you if you don't do anything on your own. All right, and that's the trick in it. God helps those who help themselves. Well, that's pretty convenient. So don't be afraid to take the credit for the good things in your life, because you earned them and you deserve them. And when bad shit happens or you make the bad decision, you did that. You made a mistake. You're human. It happens. It happens to all of us. It's not God testing you or punishing you. It's not Satan coming after you or making you do the wrong thing. It's all you. All right. We need to kind of lasso in the population in this country. This country especially, because I think we're probably one of the most insanely religious countries on the planet. It's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I think more people I haven't seen a study, but I would be interested to know if there were more people that believe in God and angels and the devil than believe the 2020 election wasn't stolen. I'm sure there'd be some correlation to that. So, if things are going rough, do your best to weather them out, okay? Don't give up hope. You keep working hard. Eventually, good things will come to you. And it may not happen for a while. Don't get me wrong. The whole nice guys that finished last thing, there's some truth to that. Sometimes it takes a while if you're not a cutthroat psychopathic sociopath personality. There's a reason why the people that run the world are fucking insane. It's because they don't care about anything or anybody. They do what they have to do to get to the top. Morals be damned. So if it takes you longer to get to where you want to be, it's probably because you got morals and it's a harder road. And when bad things happen, learn from them. Do your best to embrace them. Don't let them, rule over your life and ruin it. So there's your motivational speech for the day. I know it sounds kind of like a downer, but I actually mean it. I do mean it. I mean, I'm still rebuilding, my life from past fuck-ups and traumas. And it's been a long time. I think it's been over 7 years since I had my breakdown. And I'm still not perfect. And I never was to begin with. So, but I keep trying. I keep trying to better myself. Improved my health. I've moved on from my ex. I've got a new girlfriend. We've been dating since the middle of October. And it's going so well. It's so nice to be a part of something where your significant other is with you for you and not because of what you can do for them. That's a nice feeling. And I hope everybody out there has that. And if you're searching for it, I hope you get it. Because I don't think I deserve it. And I don't think I deserve her, Ginger, but I am damn lucky to have found her. And I also want to say, thank you to my parents for doing the best they could to raise me. They were young when they had me. And, they made a lot of mistakes raising me as I did with my daughter. But they worked through them and they did the best they could, which is all you can do as a parent. Because as many books and manuals that there are out there made up by people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about that teach you how to parent, it doesn't matter. You can read all the books in the world about being a parent and you will literally fuck up consistently all the time. So it's a learning process for both you and your child. So shout out to my parents, Patricia and Gary. And I want to say hello to my lovely daughter, Jade. She was the one bright spot in my marriage. Yeah, I had some good times with my ex, but it wasn't probably ever meant to be and probably shouldn't have happened. But if it hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have had my daughter. And goddamn, did I get lucky with Jade. Jade, if you happen to listen to this, I love you and I appreciate you. And I'm proud of the woman that you've grown up to be. She was a great kid growing up, and she still is. So, having said that, we need to get into the Nighttime podcast. That is NYTE, not your typical energy, because I'm not going to be one of those guys that takes one side or the other and believes that my side is always right and the other side is always wrong, because that, as we all know, is horse shit. Okay, anybody with a functioning brain, a decent moral compass, and critical thinking skills knows that the tribalism in this country is literally tearing it apart. There was a lot of things we used to be able to agree on, and there were a lot of things that we didn't agree on, but we could agree to disagree and still work through shit. I became politically aware in high school, and I haven't stopped paying attention since. And one thing I will tell you is, as I've grown up and grown older, it has gotten worse. Now, I think it's an inherent flaw built into the system, because the way this country is set up, we've made so many advances as a society and technologically that there's going to be a natural evolution of things. And the problem is we're governed by a set of rules that were written over 200 years ago. And they don't have built-in fail-safes for the leaps and bounds that we've made. And I honestly believe that our Constitution holds us back more than it sets us apart from the rest of the world. It's almost like an anchor at this point. Yes, there are some good things to the Constitution. We needed it at the time. The way it was written, we needed it written that way at the time. It's not that time anymore. It's not the time of muskets and taking 3 months to cross the ocean to attack an enemy and all the other horseshit that goes along with it, okay? There's almost 8 billion people on the planet. There's over almost 400 million in this country, okay? The Constitution needs to be updated. Now, if I had my way, while we're on this subject, I think the Constitution needs to be stripped down and rewritten. Okay? And this is what I mean by not your typical energy. The Constitution needs to be stripped down and rewritten. Ground up. And instead of putting our rights first, it doesn't matter what order things are in, per se, but I think we should start rewriting it, and we should start as the first top 10 things. Those top 10 things need to be what politicians can and can't do and how they are held accountable. Because we have elected, and this is partially, maybe more than partially, the voters' fault, because as a collective we are pretty stupid in this country and we make stupid decisions and we elect stupid people to govern us, and then some of us act shocked when they act stupidly on our part. What can I tell you? But there needs to be a serious model set up in the Constitution where politicians are held accountable. And I'm not talking, well, if you don't like them, hey, in 4 years you can vote them out. So you're telling me that your business model for the American government is if you hire somebody to do a job and you find out within the first 6 months to a year that this employee that you hired is a piece of shit, the best way to deal with it is wait another 3 or 3.5 years and then replace them? Show me another business in the world that runs that way. An actual business. Not a government, a business. The federal government is a business. The politicians are our employees. Our taxes pay their salaries. And I'm pretty sure the approval rating for Congress is in the toilet. And it has been for quite a while. So I say elections have to happen more often, and they need to reflect the society that we are currently in a state of, meaning term limits. I don't, like, I'm in Iowa. I'm in Ankeny, Iowa. That's where I live. I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa. We're in the center of the country. We grow corn here and cows, and we grow bars because there's, I can tell you, in Des Moines, West Des Moines, and all the suburbs around there, there's like a bar every 10 fucking feet. I swear to God. So you're getting an opinion from the Midwest, but I've got a senator here, Grassley. I think he's been in Congress longer than I've been alive. Why the fuck is he still there representing Iowa? How? And this is what I mean by shit needs to be updated. What was the life expectancy back when the Constitution was written? 50? Maybe? So politicians weren't around long enough to see 2, 3, 4 fucking generations of people go by and still be governing them. I want somebody who's my age or younger making decisions for the future. You've got guys and gals as politicians in the Senate and the House of Representatives that don't have a future. They're so fucking old Any decision they make is going to last well beyond their time here on Earth. Why are we allowing that? There should be an age minimum, as we have, and there should be an age maximum. Because I can tell you right now, Biden shouldn't be in office. The only reason he's there is because we needed him to get rid of Trump. Because Trump was insane. You fucking argue with me all you want. You can comment on this video. You can send me an email. It'll be in the link in the description, my email and links to my other social media. And you can argue with me till you're blue in the fucking face. I don't care. Biden doesn't belong there. Trump doesn't belong there. I didn't vote for Biden because I thought Biden was better than Trump. In so much as, Biden's the shit. He's not. You could have given me a fucking Philly sandwich, and I would have voted for that over Trump. Trump needed to go. There wasn't a confidence vote for Biden. It was a non-confidence vote for Trump. Biden shouldn't be there. Biden is fucking dead. He's dead and nobody told him. That doesn't mean I don't like the guy. I love Biden. He shouldn't be in charge. Why? Because he's in his fucking 80s. And he's a senior citizen and he's got dementia. He's got mental problems. But so did Trump. And Trump's fucking old too. And Trump shouldn't be in there. Trump shouldn't be in there because he's old. Because he's got the mental capacity of a fucking junior high student at best. His speaking skills are on a 5th grade level. He's a great businessman because he has no morals. He has no code. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody. And that's his entire business life. And he's a great salesman, though. He can sell you on anything, especially if you're dumb. I mean, he spent his life shitting on the working man, not giving a fuck about anybody. And then all of a sudden he convinced enough people to vote for him, to put him into office, on how much of a great guy he was and how much he cared about the country and everybody that wasn't him. I promise you, he would sell his soul, if he had one, and his children into slavery if he thought it would get him a win. He fucking cares nothing about you. And most politicians don't care about you either. It just depends on how good of a salesman you are and how dumb your demographic is. So, rewrite the Constitution. Make it harder to get into office. At some point I'll probably sit down and I will write my own Constitution. Fuck, who knows? Maybe I'll run for president one day. I'll run on the platform of, I watch porn. I drank before I was of legal age. I've done stupid shit. I've never been accused of a felony. I've never been arrested. I've never been detained. I've never done an illegal drug in my life, believe that or not. I still haven't smoked weed. My daughter has been more bold and courageous than I have insofar as marijuana. The reason why I never did it was because my father, you can say he did his job. I was truly afraid of him and afraid of what he would do to me if I ever fucked up. Because when I did fuck up, he had an anger issue, an anger management issue, and he could be frightening. He was a very imposing character, especially when you're young and growing up and you're a child and your father is young, so he's not prepared to handle it. And so he's working his ass off trying to make a living, trying to support the family, and you screw up as a kid. And, they're just not, young parents aren't, a lot of them aren't emotionally equipped to deal with things, so sometimes anger gets the best of them. So I was afraid of my father. So I was, a square growing up. I didn't fucking do anything. I didn't go out with guys that were going to get into trouble, so I never got into trouble. And while it's a good thing that I never did drugs, I think legally, from a legal aspect, from a moral aspect, but I feel like I missed out on a lot. And like, I'm still afraid to try drugs. And I'm talking about the light stuff, marijuana, edibles, mushrooms, whatever. Part of that is because he's still in my head, my father. And then part of it's the legality of things, because I don't like breaking the law. It doesn't appeal to me, even if the law is fucking stupid. But I don't blame my daughter for doing it. I don't blame other people for doing it. It's your life. Do what you want. I think weed should be legal. It should be. If anything should be legal, weed should be legal. I don't hear stories or see articles in the news about guys getting high on marijuana and then going out and on a killing spree or a mass shooting or going out and stealing cars and shit. You from what I've seen, because I've had friends that have done drugs, you're not particularly motivated to go out and be a criminal when you're high. Not on marijuana. So, alcohol kills people, breaks up families. Cigarettes, they're horrible for you. They've been killing people since tobacco was discovered. And the government lets that shit go. But they want to protect you from marijuana. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. The only reason that weed's legal and weed isn't legal and alcohol and tobacco is because those have already been established institutions. They're money makers. They can pay their politicians off to protect their businesses. And tobacco, that business is only to kill people, period. At least you can say alcohol moderately imbibed. You can have a good time. Yeah, it's not healthy for you, but it's not going to kill you as long as you've got a good head on your shoulders. Tobacco, there's no redeeming qualities to tobacco. I don't care that it might relieve stress or relieve stress or anxiety, or that it's an appetite suppressant. You can get that stuff from other sources that won't give you cancer or destroy your lungs. And I used to smoke. I started smoking when I was 18, right after I graduated high school, which is the dumbest fucking time to do it. I mean, you made it through school. If any time there was a period where you suffered from anxiety and stress and tension, it would have been school. It would have made more sense to start smoking in school. So I started when I was out, because I don't know, I wanted to be different. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be cool. And then I smoked for probably 94 to 2003, 10 years. I stopped after my daughter was 6 months old, because we were constantly living in apartments and never on the first floor, and I was tired of going up and down the stairs and being winded, and I wanted to be around for my daughter when she grew up, so I quit smoking. Smoking is stupid. Smoking cigarettes is stupid. And I can admit that I was stupid for smoking. Anybody who smokes now, I don't get it. I can't get my head wrapped around it. You know how bad it is. It would be real easy to just ban cigarettes and tell the tobacco growers, just switch to fucking hemp. Hemp can be used for so many things, and then you'll still make money, and you won't be killing people, and have a site, have a hemp crop where it's used for all kinds of industrial purposes, and then you can have the THC side for the pleasure part of it. And then allow minorities who have been screwed over by the laws when it concerns drugs, allow them a taste of some entrepreneurship and let them make some money and establish some wealth. So, I know I started out with Constitution and we ended up with smoking, so I've rambled. So let's get into some news articles. I want to get these caught up so I can get my fucking inbox cleared out. The first one, we're at the end of January, so this article, I remember this. A diver was decapitated by a giant 19-foot great white shark in front of horrified fishermen in the first fatal shark attack of the year. Holy shit. Off the coast of Mexico, Manuel Lopez was scuba diving when a great white shark swam by, ripped off his head, biting, and he bit through both shoulders. I bring this up because, goddamn, how horrific is that? Not only to have it happen to you, but to witness it, to watch some guy, just to watch this huge fucking killing machine swim by and just bite somebody's head off. That's fucking insane. Do I feel sorry for the guy? No. They were all warned that sharks were in the area. If you go into the ocean, and here's one of those things, well, you know, my opinion, if you go into an environment that has killing machines in it, you know, animals, wild animals, you get what you get. It's a gamble. They were here before us. So I don't feel sorry, and I don't cry, and I don't think it's a tragedy when somebody dies from a wild animal attack. I root for the animals. I will always root for the animals. If my daughter goes backpacking in a fucking forest that's known to have, you know, bears running around or mountain lions and she ends up getting killed, I will cry for my daughter. I will weep. I will never get over it. But you know what I won't do? I won't blame the forest and wildlife departments. I won't blame local politicians or police or forest rangers. I won't blame media. I won't blame the animals. I won't blame God. There's no blame. She died from a wild animal attack. Shit happens. But I'm not going to spend my time trying to blame somebody and finding out who I can sue so I can make money off of it. So if you go into the ocean and you die, you die. You go into, you know, the desert and something gets you there, that shit happens. Anything that happens to humans, collectively we have it coming. I will always root for the animal. That's not to say that if my daughter comes to me or anybody I love or care about says, hey, I'm going to go backpacking in this forest where there's wild animals that can kill me, I'm not going to be praying or hoping that they die, but I will be pragmatic about it. When it's all said and done, after the mourning's gone, you know, you've mourned and you've moved on with your life as much as you can. It's not, it is what it is. But man, just to get your fucking, it's it's funny, but it's not, to get your head completely bitten off while you're out scuba diving. But like I said, they were here first. So be safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Let's see. Ciara slams Fox News commentator after he blames chaos and disunity leading to the Tyree Nichols beating on cities run by single mothers. Jason Whitlock, the fat fuck who couldn't hack it, I guess, as a sports commentator and a sports writer, I guess he wasn't satisfied with the money he was making and the attention he got there. So he decided to become an anti-black news commentator. I've seen this phenomenon grow, where Candace Owens is a great example. Jason Willock is another one where, yeah, I don't know if they believe what they say, but they have fully embraced the identity of, even though I am black, I'm going to play like black people are the problem, the cause of their own demise and downfall, and troubles in trying to advance in society the way they should be able to because of what happened in this country's past. So, and what they do is they say, I think they say this, I'm going to embrace this persona where I can get a lot of eyeballs, a lot of money, a lot of attention by being an anti-black black. Republicans and conservatives, they can't throw enough money or attention at Candace Owens, okay? And she's as anti-black as you can get. Just some of the most stupid, uneducated, simple shit. But she's playing to a specific audience that loves her and will give her the money and attention that she's craving. So a part of me wants to think that they're actors. They're playing a part. Kind of like Tucker Carlson. I don't know if he believes the shit he spews, but he definitely knows his demographic. He knows what sells. And he's kind of like Trump. He will say or do anything that will appease his side, no matter how fucking insane it is and how wrong it is, because it gets him attention, it gets him eyeballs, which gets certain sponsors and pay and followers. So Whitlock, I guess, is blaming single mothers for the black population's woes, which is a really stupid fucking take, because there's a lot of kids that were raised by single mothers that have done just fine. They're perfectly capable men and women, and it doesn't matter if you're a single mother, black or white, and it doesn't matter what race you are, religion, whatever. Now, I take that back. Religion fucks everybody up. But it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. A single parent doesn't automatically mean your child's going to be fucked up. Is it better if you have two parents? Yes, if they get along and if they're not fucking insane or psychotic. Yes, it's better to have two than one, but it doesn't mean one parent is going to produce a fucked up kid. And to blame black women, single black women who are busting their ass trying to raise their kids. So you got to figure, not only does this black mother, she's black, so she's already got that against her, and then she's got to raise a child, a black child, who's gonna have to be fighting the system. She's gonna be fighting extra things, and this is I'm saying this from a point of view of I don't take it's not my fault this country fucked over minorities, but I am aware of it, and I think we as a country should accept responsibility for it and acknowledge it and try and fix it every day going forward. Like every day we should be looking to better ourselves and make things more equal and to try and right the wrongs. Do I think reparations is the answer? No, it's not. It's not. But there are certain inherent flaws in our system of government and system of justice that still prey on minorities. So, for this fat, bald motherfucker to say that it's because of the black woman raising her kids on her own, that's the reason that black people are growing up to be criminals and thieves, he can get fucked. That's a bullshit take that he can say because he knows it's going to be it's going to be newsworthy. It's going to be controversial, and it's going to give him eyeballs, and it's going to make all the white Republicans like him. And here's the part where I hope that they're acting and don't actually believe what they're saying, because these same Republicans who like what he's saying right now, if he were to turn around at any point from now until he dies and says anything positive about black people, or that he acknowledges what's actually going on, which is minorities are fucked because of the country's history and what we've done to them and what we still continue to do to them, they would drop him immediately. He would become the biggest piece of shit on the planet to those same Republicans. And I'm not saying that the Democrats and liberals and progressives don't do the same type of stuff. That's why it's so hard to be somebody in my line of thinking where I'm not picking a side just because I need to pick a side so I can be on the winning team, or I have to be on a team. I'm not on team Democrat or Republican. I'm on team fucking human, in so much as equality for all. No group is completely right and no group is completely wrong. There's compromises to be had on almost every position, but we stopped trying to compromise because we're too busy fucking rooting for a team. And that shit is instilled in you as you grow up. Sports competitions, academic competitions, everything's you gotta fucking win. You gotta win. There's no room for second place. Anybody that tells you now that, as a kid, it's not whether or not you win or lose, it's how you play the game, and if you had fun, and you should have sportsmanship. Once you grow up, all that shit goes out the door, especially in the business world and the working world. You're having morals and being a decent person is one of the biggest flaws you can have if you truly want to be honest about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be a nice person and to have morals, but they hurt you more than help you, because if you're competing for a job, there is no award for second place. You either get hired or you don't get hired. You know what I'm saying? It's a cutthroat world. Now, the way I see it, there was no way to avoid that line of thinking bleeding eventually into every aspect of life, not just sports, not just competitions, not just jobs, not just in the working environment or in business, but into politics. It was eventually going to get there. This live or die by the one side of an argument. And that's where we're at. It's been a natural progression. It didn't happen overnight. There are some politicians that have been elected that have paved the way for an easier transition into this tribalism that we're experiencing. But it was always coming. It was always coming. And now it's here. And now you're seeing it tear the very fabric of this country apart. You have to win. Win at all costs. It doesn't matter how fucked up your candidate is, as long as he wins. He says what I like. He says what I believe, and this is where it becomes scary. Is these batshit insane politicians didn't get there by accident. They may not believe what they're saying, but what they said resonated with enough people that they got elected. That's the scary part. I'm not scared of the politicians. They're a symptom. They're the real cancer is the part of the American population that has just, for lack of a better term, completely shut their minds off. They don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to do any kind of research or any kind of external learning that they could do on their own. They would rather somebody tell them what happened, tell them how to interpret what happened, and tell them how it should be fixed. Don't think for yourself. These, and the theory is that, well, people they're working too hard. They've got so much going on with their lives that they don't have time to do things on their own, to look things up for themselves. They need somebody to tell them what to do and what to think. This is true in a sense, but I'll also call bullshit on it, because there's a lot of people who have jobs, and I was one of them when I was still the same way, that still are able to go online and look at stuff and just, get the facts on their own, not what somebody's telling them, but go read what actually happened and then make an interpretation on your own. I see so many people are online. People have got time to go online and complain, even though they have jobs, and complain and bitch about shit. Or they have time to go to these rallies, or they have time to fucking go storm the Capitol. So I don't buy the whole argument that people are just too busy. They're not just too busy. They got plenty of time to be on social media. Well, instead of being on social media, you can spend time trying to learn about what's going on in the world and become more informed so you can make better decisions. So you don't become somebody like this fucking Whitlock. Single black women are the problem. Get fucked. I wonder, is his family, does he have family, and do they care? Do they disown him? Are they proud of him that he's famous, or are they ashamed of him because he got famous for being a piece of shit? I don't know. Let's see. What else we got here? Jill Biden. This was an issue for a while, and I still don't understand. I mean, I understand, because it's one side's job to shit on the other no matter what, and if there is anything to shit on, you make something up, because your base will believe anything you tell them. Jill Biden. Let's see, when was this article? January 29th. Is Jill Biden a medical doctor? Megyn Kelly slammed for calling FLOTUS title fake. Well, it's not fake, okay? When you say you're a doctor, that doesn't just mean a medical doctor. If you get a doctorate, if you work towards a doctorate, you get the title of doctor. That's just how it works. I know Ben Shapiro, I fucking chimed in on this at some point, probably on Twitter, I think, and said that, I would be disappointed if somebody came to dinner with me and introduced themselves as a doctor, and then I started choking, or I had a seizure or a heart attack or something. I would be disappointed to find out that the person that said they were a doctor wasn't a medical doctor. Well, that's you, because you're a fucking idiot. First of all, you made an assumption without taking the time to actually ask and get to know that person. And secondly, disappointment. You're disappointed in a person who has a doctorate because they couldn't save your life. That makes no sense to me. You're disappointed. That's like, well, I'm disappointed that nobody was a doctor at my table when I had a heart attack. That's the same thing. Saying that would be saying the same thing as somebody who says they're a doctor but isn't a medical doctor, and then there's a medical emergency and they can't help. Go fuck yourself. Megyn Kelly can go fuck herself, and so can Ben Shapiro. Sorry about the language, but that's the way real people talk out in the real world. And these people that talk and act moral on the news and on these podcast networks, when they're off the air, I promise you they talk like I do. Doctor is doctor. If you don't fucking like that she's not a medical doctor, then don't like it. But to tell everybody to hate her, or to tell everybody that it's fake because she's not a medical doctor, fuck you. half of these people, you know what? If you had put in time into whatever you were doing and you earned a doctorate, earned it because you have to earn it. Usually, I know rich people can get by certain things, but normally, if you've earned your doctorate, you get to be called doctor. And if somebody else doesn't like it, they can get fucked. And to make this an issue, this is what I mean by playing to stupid people, because stupid people eat this shit up. Okay? Stupid people will eat on this. They'll be happy. They'll say, "Yeah, she's not a doctor." Well, you don't give a fuck. You don't care. You only care because she's not part of your political idealism. She doesn't fall in your ideological spectrum, and that's why you don't like it. It really doesn't matter to you. It doesn't affect your life. But they make it news, and it's not news. What else we got? And you know, I'm sorry I keep going on these rants. I get on a topic, then I get on a side topic, but it's because my whole head it's like a fucking wasp nest of shit that pisses me off all the time, because I'm so disappointed in humanity. I'm so disappointed in this country and its population. We are so capable of being so much better. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie The Warriors. Old movie. Very good movie, and the principle of it was one man, because one man was trying to unite all of the gangs together to take over the system. The theory was that they had the numbers, they had the power. If they could just put aside their differences and work together, they could beat the system that was causing them problems. Now, I'm not saying gangs should get together and take over and you know kill the police and take over society. But what I'm saying is, our ideologies have created a gang-like system. You've got Republican gangs, conservative gangs, liberal gangs, progressive gangs, democratic gangs, centrist gangs, fucking, I don't know, Green Party, Tea Party, Freedom Caucus. They're all gangs. If we could all put aside our horseshit differences for just a little while and actually talk to each other and come to the conclusion that yes, we are not going to agree on a bunch of stuff, but what we should be able to agree on is the morons that we're putting in charge are fucking us every chance they get. And maybe if we showed them that we could put aside our political differences and kick their asses out of their jobs for failing to do their jobs, because all they do is spend time keeping their job. The movie, the American President, Michael Douglas, when he said that line, it fucking rings in my head. You know, I was so busy trying to keep my job that I forgot to do my job. That's almost every fucking politician right now. Once you get elected, that's the sweetest job you could ever get as a politician. It's so hard to lose, and it's easy to keep. You don't have to do anything. All you gotta do, it's like professional wrestling. I think Eric Swalwell, he's a House of Representatives from, I want to say, California. He said that the shit that goes on the Senate floor or the House floor, it's like WWE. They come out with these personas and spew all this horse shit and propaganda and act flamboyant, and then you get off the floor behind closed doors and they want to be your friends and act like it's normal and act like they're a different person. And he said, fuck that. And he's right, fuck that. It's all a show. Politicians have got it so easy, and we need to make it so hard for them, but we can't because we're too busy trying to be on a winning team. No matter how wrong we are. Like Republicans in the South, the population down there that keeps voting for Republicans, almost all the southern states are last in education and last in wealth, and highest in poverty and porn and needing federal assistance, because the leaders constantly put in policies that shit on the poor, protect the wealthy, the rich, but they keep them frightened of bullshit culture war issues, and so well, at least I'm free, and at least I'm not gay, and at least they're not trying to groom my children or turn them into drag queens or whatever, and that's why I'm so disappointed in American citizens, because they can be so stupid, and when that much stupidity gets together, it's dangerous. It's just so bad, and all that shit goes on in my head every day. Like, I used to be able to keep a little bit of control on it, but when I fucking had my mental breakdown, it's like the filter's gone, and it's so hard to keep everything straight. Because it's like when you're around something that you know has potential, but it's wasted, it just, especially when that shit ends up, it will affect you directly, or people you care about directly. I'm not gay, but I fight for gay rights because I know that at some point, if people get their way, they'll come for the next set of people that they don't believe follows their religious or ideological mindset. Now, understand this. When it comes down to it, if I have to vote left or right, I'm going to lean left, because at least they are not about taking individuals' human rights away. There is a clear distinction between the left and the right in that rich people are always going to vote Republican because they know Republicans are going to protect them. Yes, there are, Democrats are beholden to rich companies too. I'm not naive enough to think that it doesn't go on both sides. But when it comes to humanity, when human issues, human rights are involved, you can count on the left to at least try and protect those. Okay? Like a woman's right to choose her own body. How is that even an argument? How is that even an argument? I'll tell you why. Because religion's involved. And the religious ideology of Christians and Catholics and all these people has infiltrated that side of the aisle, because they know they're easier to control. They're easier to sell on fear. Okay? Religion isn't as big with the left when it comes to rules and laws, because they know it's not necessarily good to have religion not separated from government. One of the reasons why people came over to this country in the first place was they were trying to escape religious persecution. And then we set up this constitution, and then we have, words in the Constitution that say that we're not gonna fuck with religion, but that you have the freedom to worship as you wish, but that also means you have the freedom to worship nothing as you wish. Your religion needs to be kept in your personal space, or in the personal space shared with others of your like-mindedness, but that's as far as it should go. Once it leaves your house and it leaves your church and it bleeds into the rest of the world where reality is concerned, we don't want to be ruled by that horse shit. And religion is inherently built into everything bad that happens in politics and in governance. because a woman's right to choose, the only reason it's an issue is because of religion. You strip religion out of almost any issue that involves human rights, and you've got no argument. You've got no solid argument if you take religion out of the equation. So, let's cover, you know what, we're not going to get to the rest of these articles. I'm just going to fucking shoot from the hip here and wax. Religion. You can't kill a baby. God wouldn't like that. All right, fine. Even though your God has mass murdered, I don't know, hundreds of millions of people, I have read through the Bible. It's a very interesting read. It can be a horrific read, unless you're brainwashed. Now, take religion out of the abortion equation. What do you have? You have one side saying, hey, it's a woman's right to choose, it's a woman's body. You cannot take away her autonomy just because she has something growing inside of her. Whether it's a fucking baby or a tumor, I don't care. It's inside the woman's body, therefore the woman who has it inside her body has ultimate say on what happens. How is that a fucking argument? How is that an argument? Today, how is that still an argument? Why? Because of religion. Strip away the religion. Okay, so now you got, I find out I'm a woman. I find out I'm pregnant. Okay, I don't care at what point the heartbeat kicks in. I don't care when the fucking fingerprints are formed. I don't care about none of that shit. Okay? The baby doesn't become a baby until there's enough of it there. And you know what, and I'm not a medical doctor, and that's why the people who aren't females and aren't doctors shouldn't be involved in this decision because they're uneducated. I don't know the answer either, but what I would say is there's a compromise to be had that you've got plenty of time to have an abortion if you don't want that baby. Because it's all it is a clump of fucking cells and muscle and shit. When does actual consciousness kick in? Now, I don't want my words twisted because you can argue that, well, how many memories do you have from the womb? None. How many memories do you have before the age of 3? I don't know, maybe none. Maybe your recollection, that part of your brain sucks. That doesn't mean you weren't conscious, so can we just kill kids that are younger than the age of 3? No. Once you're born, you're completely protected. That's a compromise. Let's not be fucking stupid about it. Let's not create this slippery slope or give extreme examples. Let's be honest. At a certain point in the pregnancy, you should be able to have an abortion. And whatever the doctors and females decide, that at some point the baby is fully developed enough that it would seem pretty horrible to kill it in the womb, then that's when they decide. They put a number on it, and they say, okay, if you've made it this far with this baby, and it's gone to this developmental stage, beyond that, we can't condone giving you an abortion. You're just going to have the baby. I think that is a compromise to be had. It's a discussion that should happen. But just to say, well, you can't have an abortion at all because God doesn't like it, no. Get God the fuck out of here, okay? We got to deal in reality and in the real world. So women and doctors need to get together. And I'm not saying that the father of the child shouldn't have a say. He should have a say. His opinion should be heard. And the woman should take it into account. And then you know what? The woman still makes the fucking decision. And once we set up a law that states once a baby has developed to a certain point in the womb, if there isn't anything medically wrong with the child or the mother, then after that point, the baby must be carried to term. I think that's a compromise that can be talked about and can be had. But don't tell me you can't have an abortion just because your God says it's bad. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your religion. I don't care what your religion says. You can have your religion. Go play with yourself and with God in your own fucking house or in your own church. And once you leave there, understand that nobody else cares. Nobody else that was there gives a fuck about what your God thinks, because the rest of us got to deal with the real world. Sorry, that just pisses me off. So, I think that's what should happen with abortion. The woman should have rights over her own body, and then at a certain point, that woman has also got to understand that I've carried the baby this long, it's developed this far, I'm gonna have it, because that's just at a moral point. We've got to decide it's a bad thing. And once a baby's born, that baby should be protected no matter what. Okay? Every child should be protected once it's born, or once it reaches a certain point in the womb. And then if something medically happens between the past the point of no return, I call it the past the point of no return bill. Once the baby's at, let's say, I'm just going to say, throw it out there, 6 months. Let's say 6 months. Once the baby's been in there for 6 months, you can't have an abortion unless it's going to put the mother's health at risk. Okay? Once you pass 6 months, then unless there's a medical issue that's going to cause the mother's life to be in danger, that's the only time you can have an abortion. That's it. How hard was that? How hard was that? And that 6 months is just an arbitrary number I'm throwing out as an example. Have the argument about where the line is drawn, then set the line in law, and be done with it. How hard is that? It's not. It's real easy. You know what makes it hard? Religion. Religion fucks up everything. Being gay. All right. Here's another one. And this one hits close to home for me, not because I'm gay, but because I know several people that are. And some of them might or might not be related to me. But that doesn't matter, because as a human with a certain mental standpoint, clear of religion, understands that it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You're a human being, and if you are in this country, you are subject to the same rights and benefits that every other human being is entitled to, defined by our Constitution, which, by the way, needs to be rewritten to include this shit, so we can spell it out in crayon for all these fucking morons who still, unfortunately, will probably get to keep their religion and keep worshiping their whatever horse shit makes them happy and keeps them from being afraid of death. I don't need God to tell me murder's bad, stealing's bad, cheating on your wife's bad. And I also don't need religion to tell me to not take their deity's name in vain. Why is it the first 3 or 4 commandments all revolve around the feelings of your God? How spoiled is your God? How sensitive? I mean, you guys attribute being gay to being sensitive and feminine. Sounds like your God's pretty gay. You can't take his name in vain. You can't say anything bad about him. You can only worship him. Well, what a diva. Fuck you. Fucking idiots. So, the gay issue. Take religion out of it. What argument do you have? What argument do you have? My best friend's gay. Does that make him less of a human? No. Does it make him less of a person? No. Does it make him less funny, less caring, less loving, less intelligent, less of a human being? No. You fucking monsters, you. I don't care if they're transgender. I don't care if they want to be identified as whatever the fuck they want to be identified as. Non-binary. It's not a fight worth having. The only reason it's a fight is because of religion. Strip religion away from the issue. The solution is very easy. You'd write into law. Every human born in this country is subject to the laws and will reap the same benefits and protections as every other human being, male, female, adult, or child. Why is that so goddamn hard? Why is it so hard? That could be done in 10 minutes in a room with the politicians. You know why it's so hard? Because of religion. Religion fucks everything up. Religion tells me that I can't like that gay person because God doesn't like gay people. Well, why doesn't God like gay people? What does it hurt? What is God's reasoning for hating homosexuality? He can tell you what pisses him off, but he can't tell you why. Would you accept that from anything else? Would you accept that from anybody else? Like if your spouse came to you one day and said, hey, I don't like whatever. Let's say I don't like hamburgers. So from now on, you have to hate hamburgers. Well, why don't you like hamburgers? I don't have to tell you. You love me. You worship the ground I walk on. You don't like hamburgers anymore. Say it. Say it. No. Okay? It's stupid. So you take religion out of it. Everybody's a human. It doesn't matter if you want to be male or female, if you think you were born into the wrong body because of the flukes that happen in nature, which happen all the time because humanity, life is a fluke. Okay? Life in general on this planet is a fluke. We are so fucking lucky to be here, and we spend all our time fucking it up for everybody else because of the fact that we have the knowledge of our impending death, which happens to everything and everybody, that we have to make up stories to coddle ourselves and to make it less scary. You know what? I'm afraid of dying, but I know it's going to happen, so I still don't need some kind of fucking fairy tale to make it easier for me. Because once I'm dead, I won't know it. It'll just be done. There's a lot of commentators, a lot of comedians, and a lot of important people that have said the same thing. Like, do you remember before you were born? No. Okay, well, it'll be just like that after you die. That's an excellent point. It can't be said any better. What fucks up that? Religion. Well, if you don't live by my rules or think the way I do, you're going to go to a bad place after you die, because my loving God is going to punish you forever and ever because he gave you free will. But if you don't use that free will to pick him, he's going to punish you forever. So that doesn't sound much like fucking free will, does it? So the gay thing is a simple solution. Strip away religion, no problem. What else does religion fuck up? All kinds of things. Who you can love, who you can marry. Marriage, I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. Marriage is not a religious institution. It's not a godly institution. If I can go down to the courthouse and get married, then religion has nothing to do with it. And if I can go down to the courthouse and get a divorce, religion is not involved in it. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it was under God's eyes. If I don't have to, if I don't have to go to church to get married, it's not a religious institution. Marriage is simply a mutual transaction between two people who love each other that for some reason want the government involved to make it official in everybody else's eyes. Fine. I can live with marriage, or I can live without marriage. If I'm with somebody, like, I understand why certain people want to get married because of the officiality of it. If that's a word, I may or not be funneling Don King through my speech, but I just don't, I don't. If I promise to spend the rest of my life with somebody and they don't give me a reason to regret that, or a reason for me to break that promise, then I don't need that marriage license. But I understand people that do, and I would fully get married again, and more than likely I probably will. But that's beside the point. That's a discussion for another time with with my girlfriend. And I will do what makes her happy because she makes me happy. So if we get married, we get married. But it's not going to be religious. It's not a religious institution. If you need and until we can get religion banned so that we can move along as society and move forward and get over this horse shit and actually make some really important and life-altering advances. If you want to get married in a church, get married in a church. I don't give a fuck. But don't tell me that if I don't get married in a church, it isn't truly a marriage. And don't tell me that I've got to live by God's rules and that if I break it, it's a vow, it's a slight against God. And don't tell me that if two gay people get married, that my marriage is lesser for it. If you come to me and complain about gay marriage because it somehow demeans or defiles or lessens the status of your marriage as a straight couple, you are a weak fucking idiot. Okay, and your marriage, unfortunately for you, was never meant to be anyways. Because I can tell you, when I was married and gay people were getting married, it never once occurred to me, gosh, my marriage means less to me now that the gay couple down the road got married. Why? If you eliminate gay marriage, that doesn't mean you're going to eliminate gay people. So what's the difference? Why is this an issue? Because of religion. Strip away the religion. What argument do you have against two gay people getting married? None. Don't tell me tradition. Don't tell me that traditionally it's just been between a man and a woman, because, hey, traditionally it used to be perfectly acceptable, morally acceptable, religiously acceptable, politically acceptable, societally acceptable for a man to come home and take his fucking bad day out on his wife, beat the shit out of her, and she had to shut the fuck up and get into the kitchen and cook dinner after her beating, because that's the way it was traditionally. You could beat your wife. Traditionally, it was okay to own slaves. Christ, slaves existed since the beginning of time. We don't have them anymore. Why? It was a tradition. Why aren't we honoring that tradition? Because we moved along. We moved forward. We advanced as a society, and we decided, hey, it's fucking horrific to own people. Never mind the fact that God never said don't own slaves. Sure, there's a couple of books in the Bible where they, I can't remember. It's in the New Testament towards the end. There was a guy, it might have been Paul, who was writing to a slave owner, urging him to free the slave or whatever, but would never come right out and say God doesn't like slavery, because they knew at the time slavery was a tool, a good tool. It was great for business because it was free labor. So you couldn't come right out and use the Bible to say slavery was bad. The Bible has been used to justify slavery. Tradition. So, tradition is bullshit. That's the other argument to be wiped away when it comes to gay marriage. Strip away religion and horseshit from previous generations, and what do you have as an argument? You don't have one. Well, it doesn't happen in nature. Two male lions don't. What? Okay. Do you live your lives based off of how lions live their lives, or wild animals? Is that how you live your life? Do you go out every day and catch fucking food with your bare hands? Huh? Do you run around naked with just your fur? No. I don't give a fuck if two guy penguins fuck and hang out or not. I don't care if it doesn't happen in the wild kingdom, because I don't live by the wild kingdom rules. You fucking morons. Ugh. You know, I know the word retarded has been labeled very bad, but I believe it applies in certain situations. And no disrespect to the handicapped community. If you're mentally disabled or you're mentally handicapped, that's what you are. Retarded does not apply to you. I know traditionally it was used by some real pieces of shit to talk about mentally handicapped people and speak ill of them by using the word retarded, but that is not the tradition I'm following. I'm starting my new tradition, a tradition a lot of us have followed since we have been old enough to form our own opinions. When something extremely, extremely stupid happens, and it comes from an extremely stupid person, not mentally handicapped, just fucking stupid. Retarded, that word applies. And there's a lot of retards in America. And a lot of them are religious. So, take religion out of the gay thing, what do you got? Nothing. You have no reasonable argument. Well, we can't build up the population and make babies with gay people. Yeah, well, how many people are gay? Well, there's a small percentage of people that are gay and they're not having babies. You know what they would do though? They would take in children without parents. They would take in orphans and be perfectly acceptable parents. But no, you don't care because you're too busy trying to please your imaginary friend, your deity, your God that doesn't exist. This book of fucking arbitrary rules that you would let children suffer the horrors of having to grow up with no parents or in and out of foster homes when there's perfectly capable, reasonable, loving gay couples who would raise that child to be a perfectly loving, capable human being. Being gay does not mean you're going to raise a gay child. Okay? You're born how you're born. And this is the other thing, religion. Well, gay people, it's a choice because God doesn't make mistakes, and God says gays are bad, so God didn't make gay people. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're no longer allowed to speak. Gay couples will raise a child as well as any straight couple. And I got news for you. If gay couples can't reproduce, where are the gay people coming from? They're coming from straight people. So, either God makes gay people, or straight parents suck because they raise gay kids. So it's the straight parents we need to worry about, not the gay parents. Right? Huh? Is that too much logic for you? I know logic is a fallacy and it's like kryptonite to you motherfuckers. Anyway. I don't know. I want to end up real quick. I know I've been talking too long. I got to keep this under an hour and a half. Once again, I need to remind people. I recorded a whole episode that I trashed recently because it got too personal. I was talking about personal shit. But there were still some ideas in there that I wanted to convey. And one of them was, once again, talking about needing to unite and try to fix things that are broken and not fix things that are not broken. The culture war, the reason why so many evil, stupid people are in charge, because evil, stupid people put them there. And those evil, stupid people in charge may or may not believe what they're selling, but what they're selling is very easily sellable to people that are retarded. And the whole thing about fear is a lot easier to sell than fact. So much easier to sell. It's so much easier to make people afraid in this country. And I don't know why, if we're the greatest, toughest, smartest country in the world, we are incredibly afraid and dumb and illogical. But if you can make people afraid of something, you got them hook, line, and sinker. Because then you just sell your solution. And you don't even have to sell a solution. It's like you just have to sell the idea of a solution. If you put me in office, this is what I'll do. But they don't tell you that what really goes into what it would take to get that done, and how once they get to office, it's not going to happen because they won't have enough people to back their insane bullshit theories. But they can sell it just enough to get you to believe it, to vote you in there, because it'll solve the problems. Well, what's the problem? Pronouns, this woke ideology, and this is, I want to say this again for the people on the left, You fucking morons need to stop coming up with these clever little phrases and names and nicknames, because Republicans are very good. While they might be dumb, they're very smart at getting elected and using our own stupid shit against us. We should not be focusing on culture war bullshit, okay? Because that's what the right is using to get elected. Because it's easy to make dumb people, religious people, afraid of stupid shit. And they use it so well that it doesn't matter what's actually happening. We should be focused on inflation and gas prices and major issues, and stop fighting these stupid culture wars and trying to protect people that want to be called Zims or Zowie, whatever. I can't remember where I heard that. Somebody said that. Tom Segura said that on stage. He said, I'll call you whatever you want. But that's not the fight we should be having. You can fight those culture war things once you take care of the big issues. Come up with real solutions. Stop engaging in this horse shit. Stop dramatizing all this stuff about trans athletes and trying to fight those peripheral wars, because you're not going to win them. You're not going to win them. The people that aren't religious already understand that it's okay to be gay or trans or whatever. You're not going to win enough people who are religious, who are conservative, or who are MAGA. You're not going to win enough of those people to drastically improve your odds of getting into office and doing things that actually matter outside of religion. Okay? But you will win up enough independents, enough centrists, or libertarians, or Green Party people. You will win enough of those people to help decide an election if you focus on the major issues. Okay? The people that aren't clouded by religion or MAGA or conspiracies or other shit are easily winnable if you focus on the real problems with the country. And then, along the way, you can do two things at once: focus on the real issues once you're in office, and then help the mitigated parts of the population, the minorities, the gay people, trans people, whatever. Anybody who's being marginalized, you can help them along the way and do two things at once, but you've got to get into office first. And you need to get into office by doing it right and focusing on what's real. And we, as a population, need to stop arguing about stupid shit and listen to what's being said and start thinking for ourselves, and stop letting them tell us what to be afraid of. Because I'm not afraid of gay people. I'm not afraid of blacks or immigrants, illegal aliens, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid of straight white people. I'm afraid of straight white people, straight white religious people. They are the biggest fucking threat to this country. I know that might be controversial to say, and that may win me some viewers and lose me some. I don't give a fuck, because that's the only way to look at it. It's the only way to look at it. You need to think for yourselves and stop being afraid of shit that's not going to happen. Stop letting them tell you what to be afraid of. Think for yourselves. Nobody's going to make your kid gay. Nobody's going to make your kid trans. They're not grooming your kids. Okay? Grow the fuck up. Raise your kids right. Pay attention. Don't be stupid. Keep your eye on the ball. The next presidential election is going to come faster than you think. I know seeing all the ads is going to be a fucking nightmare. It always is. It's only going to be worse. But I really do believe this next presidential election could be our last if we don't fucking do it right. So I got that off my chest. This is the NyteTime Podcast, Episode 7. NYTE, not your typical energy. Obviously not. I love you all. Peace, love, and gossip. And I hope I entertained you enough for you to watch when the next episode drops. Love you all.